All right. All right, guys. Welcome to the first Desert Fish Podcast 1 hour special.
What's up, guys?
friends?
Today we're talking about the ins, the outs, the in between, and everything that you haven't seen.
Woo.
You guys ready?
Yeah,
This is
ready.
the first
Let's do
one.
this.
This
Let's
is the
get
first
it. I'm
one,
excited.
right? It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
I'm
It's gonna be
excited.
fun. All right. Well, first off, I
excited.
just want to let you guys know we do have a show July 20th. This is gonna be our album release for "It's Getting Late." What we're talking about today.
Mhm.
It's gonna be at the Rialto here in Tucson. Tickets are gonna be $5 for our killer lineup. We have Noah Rock, a feature on our album.
Mhm.
Young Heart. He actually did. His name's Dominic Richard. He did the cover art and the back art for
Yes,
our album.
he's an amazing artist. If you he does tattoo stuff,
amazing.
like whatever.
Check him out.
Something Like
Yeah,
Seduction. They're
he's
coming down
awesome.
from Phoenix. We've been playing with them for forever, the three of us at least.
Mhm.
And Straight Villain, Tyler Gold's in there. He's another
Yep.
feature on our album.
Yep.
Tucson band, local, amazing. If you
All
haven't
those
heard
guys
them,
are great.
check them out. All of them, check them out.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this show on the 20th is we're going to be playing the album front to back. We're playing all 15 tracks right in a row, how you're going to hear it on the album, so you get to
Yeah.
hear it first like that. It's the only time we're going to do it. So if you want to experience that, please it's $5. Pick up a ticket, come out, bring a girl, bring your dad, bring your dog. This is going to be fun.
Bring your
It's the
grandma.
Rialto.
All of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It's a Rialto,
gonna be-
so there's
it's-
space for everyone.
And it's a
Exactly.
lot.
There's
A lot of
plenty
these
of-
songs are first time we've ever played them live, so a lot of this is all obviously going to be brand new, fresh stuff that nobody's
Brand
ever seen
spanking new.
before. So
Oh yeah.
All right,
Hopefully
well,
you're
let's-
excited to hear it.
Let's kick it off. Let's just talk about the album.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do
Awesome. What do you got about the album? Yeah.
It's long.
It is a long album.
We were practicing today, and I noticed that a lot of the parts, I was just having a hard time remembering them because now that it's just the four of us, we've had to kind of expand what we're doing with each of our parts to kind of make up for the members that we don't have anymore.
Mhm.
And it's still a tight sound and everything, but it was just challenging to sit there and remember all the different guitar leads and
To
melodies
Say,
that
for
we
you
had
especially,
going
I mean,
on.
I mean, the drums are pretty hard, but the solos, man.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
you
just
have
so
most-
many leads
and-
and
you know,
love
so
the
many of them
solos.
were written
They
in
do.
the studio
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know, just
We played them once to record.
but
Played
yeah,
them the
we
one
learned
day.
it
Yep.
6 months ago to record
Yeah.
it, and now we haven't touched it in a while. So
Well, not
it's
only
also
that,
nice.
there's definitely like there's a couple comp solos in there too. We played, or you played. You know, we sat there for like to come a little closer solo. We were
just
there
sat
for
and wrote
like
'em
6
out.
hours
Yeah.
trying to get that solo perfect.
Just right.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Nick's stoked on it, obviously. Yeah.
That solo
Yeah,
took a
it's gonna
long
be
time
great.
to write, but it was
Yeah,
it's
it
cool, and
came
we
out
ended up
so
having to comp
perfect,
some of
though.
the stuff together to make it the right way, and then be like, okay, well, this
And
is
then
how this
now-
should go.
And now you got to learn how to
Now you got to
play.
learn how to do
Well,
it
yeah,
again.
no, now that I mean, that one's especially one that I actually feel more comfortable with now, but like,
Well, that's a fun one.
there's a
I mean,
couple
they're
of
all fun.
songs that like I just realized today that I was just like, I have no idea what I did on the recording, but it's good. Like we've been practicing a lot by the show.
Mhm.
Everything's gonna be
It'll all
down.
be ironed
like,
out for sure.
I mean, like the good thing about it is like it just comes back.
Yeah,
'cause
you
it's
did
Yeah,
it
well,
before, so
We were playing Breakdown, and you like, or no, was it Breakdown or was
No,
it? It was in
Living
Fat.
the moment or relate or
It
something.
would, no, it would have been in Fat, that ending solo.
Oh yeah,
you have that
I
ending
was like, I have
lead.
no idea, and then out of nowhere, it was like, oh
Yeah, just
here it is.
boom, there
This
it
is
went.
how it goes.
And because I was behind the kit today, and we were trying to go through that and hash it out, and then I just like heard it, and I was like, oh, there it is.
That's it.
Something
it.
kind of cool that we did on this. Speaking of, this song's called FAT. FAT is an acronym for fuck all titles. But we actually had a
Appropriate.
feature on it, kind of unorthodox. We did a bass feature. So
Yeah,
our really
it
good
was
friend
cool.
Adam Chavez, he actually played in a band. Was
OG
But-
Desert
and it
Desert
actually
Fish
member
members,
as
the
well.
song actually
Mhm.
stems from him.
from
like,
him. Yeah, it was his.
we all
bass
wrote
line,
it
so-
together, but like he kind of had the original idea of the bass line, and it was just so good.
And we
then
fucking fell in love with the
we
song.
We
so
fell
we
in love,
wanted
and
it.
everyone kind of
But we didn't want to
threw
steal
in
anything.
everything on top.
Yeah.
And
No, it was cool having him. I don't know if you've watched all the studio updates. You probably caught it if you are an old fan of the
So
band.
short, I put it in
The
there.
Adam is in
It is
there a
there.
little bit.
The
Go
Adam-
back, watch the
the
bass,
Adam
the
is in
bass
there.
studio update.
Pimp
He's in there.
job, pimp
Mhm.
job, he's
Yeah.
there.
So it was awesome seeing it, and like I've been friends with Adam for a long time. I haven't been in the band for a long time, but Adam was
Back
on
from
drumline.
Drumline.
Yeah, we've known each
So,
other for years. So.
Yeah, it was awesome having him come back and record and stuff. It was cool.
All right. Well, so it is a 15-track album. We've heard. How long from pre-pro? We'll say because the writing was about 3 months. I think we at least. 3
At
months.
least, yeah.
at least
And from pre-pro to now, when was it about?
July or August.
It was July.
Of
So
last year.
Yeah,
in
last
July
year.
we did like
Started
a Weekend
pre-pro.
Warrior tour. We did like a
Yeah.
4-day tour to
Well,
Cali.
I want to
So
say it
it's
was
been about a year
June when we did the
production.
tour. June when we did the tour.
I think
the from Sand to Sea
Oh, it
tour.
was in June, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was in
Okay.
June, and then we came back and then we did the acoustic tracks, the
Mhm.
the 3-song EP.
It's true. We did the no fish were
No
harmed
Fish
in
Were
this
Harmed.
photo.
Yeah, we came back and we did that, and then immediately after, and while we were doing that, we were still dabbling in some of the writing and
Of
stuff.
course,
If-
yeah.
If we when we were trying to get the acoustics out, if we just got writer's block or whatever, we were like, okay, well, let's switch focus right now and let's work on some of the album.
Mhm.
Yeah, we hit writer's
Um,
block a lot in this.
Yeah. But if we did, we
Yeah,
could
towards
always.
the
It's
end.
There was
always gonna
enough songs
happen.
that we could kind of switch
Yeah.
focus a little bit and be like, okay, well, this
Yeah,
needs to get
with
done,
the
so let's move
production
and get
blocks,
this.
like just ideas for like
Yeah.
how to get everything to sound
The
way that we
mixing, the
wanted it
mixing was
to.
another part. We
And
got
it's
to,
a
where
it's
we're
a whole
just like,
nother ball game.
Yeah, and not to
especially
mention-
since we did
Especially
everything
after you
here.
sit there and just
Yeah.
listen to it over and over and over and over again, you
Mhm.
just kind of
Yeah.
have to like walk
And
away from
after
it for
a year
second.
of listening to
say,
the
we
same
s-
songs,
I think I spent more time in that fucking control room
right? Yeah.
this last year than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been
Tell us
reclused in
about
there.
it.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I mean that's the reason.
I wasn't doing anything, but I was sitting in there.
I
mean,
was
that's-
sitting on the couch in
that's
the
the
back.
reason
I
we
had a
haven't-
I
bit
was sitting there
sometimes.
telling you what to do.
we haven't played many shows in the last year because that's where we've been. is in
Exactly.
there.
Yeah, we
We've
did
been
Ghost
a
Out
Hyrie
for a
show.
while. and
We've
Kinda
been
kinda off the radar.
Straight up
for sure.
reclused in that. We played one show with Hyrie
Yeah.
at the Rock a couple months ago,
'Cause we
and that's
couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, I love
Always a
seeing
great time
Hyrie.
with them.
Well, if you kind of haven't gathered from that, we all live in this house here.
Mhm.
It's John's place. We kind of rent from him, but
The
we have a
fish
home.
tank.
We have a
Fish tank.
home. We have a home studio here,
Yeah.
and that's what we've recorded the whole album, other than the drums. Which
Yes.
it was where-
Phil McCartney.
Phil
He's-
McCartney
yes.
at Philosophy Entertainment.
Yes.
Shout out to him. He did all the drums for. He recorded all the drums for us.
Yes.
Amazing
He's a
man.
huge
Great
help.
guy.
If you
yeah,
need him,
absolutely.
need him for anything, hit him up.
Yeah, it was awesome recording him. He's actually an old friend of mine. I met him back. It was actually right after I had finished my recording, like apprenticeship school stuff. I was working at Target at the time, and he came. He was in Phoenix as he was going to Crass, and then he came back to because he had been working at Target before. So he came back, and we kind of just clicked because we were both sound engineers, and started working on stuff. And then before we did these drums, Dylan and I were working on a punk project together, and we
The
did the
Muse from
drums.
here?
We did the view from here. We did
Mhm.
drums.
Muse.
The Muse. We did drums with Phil as well for that.
Oh, so I didn't know
so
that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we did him there. So that's why when I was like, yo, we
So
got
you
to do
kinda already
drums for
knew
this
it was-
album, it was like, all right, well, I know that I want to go hit up my dude Phil because
Mhm.
Because you're familiar with
exactly,
it.
I'm familiar
and
with
he
the
does a good
setup, and
job.
he does a good job. Yeah, so we went there and did all the drums, and then we just transferred all the session files over. There's like 30 gigs of drums.
Yeah. So since we are on the topic of drums,
Uh-huh.
so me, Austin, and Dylan, we've been in a band for at least 3 or 4 years, like minimum. So we've been building chemistry, and we kind of know each other like that.
Mhm.
John, we've only been playing with for about a little over a year now.
Yeah, a little
Um,
over a year.
Being the newest member into Desert Fish, was it kind of nerve wracking, or did you feel some pressure when you were recording the drums? Being that because you lay down the bass line for everything,
Yeah.
you don't have other than pre-pro, which is pretty
Pretty
bare
minimal.
bones.
Pretty
Bare
you know?
bones, yeah.
raw,
That
yeah.
and the click
Like,
track. So.
Was there any pressure to record any because these were some of the songs we had already written, so
Right,
you had
right.
to kind of like
So there was a little bit of pressure. I've been a drummer for a while, so I've gotten used to being able to, or I've gotten used to being the first guy to record.
Mhm.
So like I was playing in a metal project a while ago, and I recorded drums for that and everything. And then, like I said, Dylan and I were trying to start a pop punk thing, and I recorded the drums first for that. So it's been something.
you're not a
that-
newbie to it.
No.
Exactly, yeah. I'm
It's-
not a
that's
newbie to
always gonna
recording
be the
drums.
case,
Yeah,
is,
it's
you know.
always.
But the
always the same
genre,
structure.
the genre didn't.
The genre was different and everything, but if you watch, like in the drum studio update, I talk a little bit about how, I wanted to kind of carry over some of my rock influence and my heavier influence into this album
Which I
just a little
absolutely
bit.
love.
Yeah,
I
and
love
then,
that.
And I wanted to kind of blend it a little bit with what Desert Fish was already doing.
Mhm.
So, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I know that there were a couple there were the drum parts in Tides, that chorus. I wrote that MIDI drums.
4 limbs doing just random.
Yeah,
shit.
it was a weird
Mhm.
part, and I really wanted to do something nuts there. So I wrote it out on Superior Drummer on my computer just with a MIDI so I could hear it, and
And
then
And taught it to
and then
himself.
taught it to myself after I could hear it, and then that's when I was able to go through to
Even me as a member, I'm learning things here on this podcast.
and then so after that, then that was. But then there were some fills and stuff from. There were some fills
Yeah.
we wrote in the studio, or some like you said, some of the songs are a little bit older. So I tried to stay true to what the drums kind of had already. been written like. I kind of try to keep it there, but also kind of make it my own a little bit, like with songs like Zombie Love or Fat that have kind of been around for a little bit, but were never done.
With that pressure,
On
I
record-
mean,
on
that we're
record.
talking about, how long did it take? It was really short of amount of time. That we
4
took.
days. We
It was
were in the,
4
we,
days.
only, we all the drums were done in 4 days.
So
of
even
fills.
with that, because like
that was the biggest pressure.
at Philosophy Entertainment, it's a home studio like we are here. So
Mhm.
we did the drums in the
In
beginning
his
of the
living
living
room.
room.
Yeah,
and
just cleared everything out. and
he's got a family. So
Yep.
I mean,
So that was the biggest source of pressure, I think, was just having
just that time
knowing
constraint.
that the time constraint and
Mhm.
knowing that I had to.
all right, guys, we're gonna have just a little bit of technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
And we are back.
First.
Oh, Nick's got to sit down.
We are almost back.
Now we are back. What were we
We
talking
are
about?
back.
Drums?
Okay, so we were at Philosophy
yes.
Entertainment talking about the pressure being in the middle
Yes.
of the living room with
yeah.
having a
The
family.
time constraint was definitely, I think, the biggest source of pressure there. That along with, I mean, we had to get his living room back to him, all that kind of stuff. But then also at the same time knowing that if I, we have to be happy when we leave, because if we tear the drums down, we tear the mics down, and we hear something later,
Mhm.
we're never gonna set the drums back up the same. It's never gonna sound exactly the same. I'm not gonna be able to cut and blend those two sounds together in Pro Tools and make them sound the same. We got to do it all right then and there. It's
Mhm.
got to be done live, just song.
Yep, and then move on to everything.
Exactly,
else
and
once
then
that
move on. And
foundation
we've
is
got
laid.
we've
And that's
got to
kind
get
of
it. And we've
that's-
got to go.
That's with everything. Like you get the one. You do it until
You-
it's done, and you're fucking done. You don't get
Yeah.
it. There's no
Mhm.
You
going
can't
back.
stop
There's
halfway
no-
through a song when you have the tone that you want.
Mhm.
for
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
and we'll come up to it later, but a lot of it was like when we were recording guitars. We have two guitarists, so like
Mhm.
they'd use different amps for different songs, so we had to record everything on one
One
amp.
amp.
But we'll get to that later. But it's stuff like that. Like there's
There's a
that's
particular
pressure in
process
all
about
of it. You know,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, recording that you have to
That-
adhere
if you
to.
hear something later, you're fucked. You're like there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
going
you
back.
know.
Now you got to
There's
work
nothing like-
around.
You
it.
got to
Yeah.
make sure that you're happy with what you've done
before
right
you break
there.
anything else down.
And then
move
also
on.
at the point where this once we're done and we put this out and we put it into it's out there on iTunes and Spotify and whatever, and we have it in hard copies, it's out there forever, really.
Yeah.
So this is sort of
It's
our
kinda cool. We're getting
it's like our
embodied in the world.
thumbprint. Yeah, it's our fingerprint out there forever that we've laid on the
Immortalized.
music industry. Whether or not it gets
The
huge.
one person that's
It's-
listening to our album ever. It's awesome.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so it's like no matter how big of a thing it becomes or doesn't become, no matter what, that's always gonna
Yeah,
be
I want
there.
to be happy with it. I want
Exactly,
to
yeah.
be proud of
It's
it.
it's
I
sort
don't
of the
wanna put shit out,
embodiment
yeah.
of
Mhm.
where we are right now.
Whoopity scoop.
Whoopity scoop.
Oh,
exactly.
Don't get us
Let's-
started on that.
All right.
We'll,
We'll
we'll
skip
skip,
that.
let's get back on
We'll,
track
we'll
here.
move on from the
We're
drums.
not
Go
gonna
ahead and
go
scoop
down
that.
that rabbit hole.
We'll move on. So, we talked about John being the newest member, but there was also like Dylan has a guitar background. It's where he comes from. That's what he grew up on. But he plays bass on more than I mean,
More than
about half,
more than half the
almost
songs. About half the
album,
songs.
yeah.
So, being from a guitar background, how was it recording quite a few of the songs for bass?
It was great. Boy, I was never not busy on this album as far as tracking went, because I do bass in the album, I do guitar in the album, I do vocals in the album. I helped John mix and produce the album. So, but I started with the bass,
Boy,
and I had a
howdy.
great time
Boy,
with
howdy.
I had a great time with bass. I mean, I've always loved playing that instrument. Anytime, growing up playing in all the bands since we were 15, 14,
Can I just say too, like as far as bass goes, like anytime you ever pick up
Play it
bass,
so
you're just
good.
so
I
like,
don't
naturally-
understand.
It wasn't your
Some, like,
home
nasty
instrument,
licks.
but
Well,
like
thank you. Yes.
you're just naturally.
I
good
definitely
at
I feel
it.
comfortable on the bass. I feel creative on the bass, so I definitely enjoyed.
Bass line.
Yeah, I
Always.
love getting those nice groovy bass lines, man. So
He's good
I had
at
a
it.
great time recording the bass, and just taking over that role kind of when we went down to a smaller group here. Someone had to be more consistent on the bass, but also keep lead
was gonna
vocals,
say,
or me share
like-
lead vocals with Nick, but still heavily play the bass on the album. So just like you mentioned in practice today, those things are starting to come back and get me, when I'm playing this groovy bass line and trying to sing lead
Getting
Oh,
into it.
vocals
and
at the
shit.
same time,
Yeah.
So it's definitely, but it's only challenging me and only making me better. So I definitely enjoy
I
taking
mean,
that role.
And like you said, in this last year, we changed more about our band than we've ever changed.
Mhm.
Because like
Yeah.
we all, the three of us flip flopped. Like I played bass when we had our older members. I played bass more than anybody,
Mhm.
and then now these two are taking the majority of the bass lines. So like you're in the same boat, Austin. He comes from
Yeah.
a heavy guitar background, but he's playing what 5 or 6 songs on bass on this
I
at
don't
least.
know if it's
Two-
5
it's
or
like
6,
three
but
or
it's at
something,
least
3 or 4,
3.
yeah.
Really?
Because
It's-
Yeah.
on like the older stuff that we did, I take over a
You take
lot of the
Mhm.
bass
Take
that
over,
happened.
yeah.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
Dylan was playing a lot more
guitar.
guitar at that point.
Yeah.
But like in general now I do play a lot of bass. But on this record I think it's like 3 maybe.
But I mean,
4
people who've
songs.
known us for years can attest to that's always been our thing. Is
Yeah, so
we
you
You
all
know what?
kinda-
And
we
if
all
you go
kinda
back and watch
share.
the
Swaps
bass
around.
update, like we explained in there, like we never had a set bass player. We all love to play the bass, and we all love to play other instruments. So
Mhm.
we're giving each other the spotlight, and we're growing as musicians in that aspect where like we're not solidifying ourselves in one section. You
So
know,
for
it
me,
makes
I
it a
stay
little bit
behind the
difficult
kit.
because maybe we have to spend more time on everything to
Mhm.
make sure they're solid.
Mhm.
But it
But-
gives us more freedom in
Exactly.
writing songs, you know.
It's
so.
cool. Like I sit behind the kit the whole time. I don't
Yeah,
switch.
he is the one.
But
The
it's
one
cool watching
constant.
you guys.
Yeah.
You guys switch around, you know, and it's like, whoever's playing bass is the rhythm section with me.
Mm.
So it's like I get to play when depending on
The
who's
different
playing
rhythm
bass,
sections.
the different rhythm sections. So I get to
Yeah.
experience each one of you guys.
Keeps us
playing
all connected, really
playing
locked
bass.
in. You know, we're all
Yeah,
used to grooving
and
with
and
the
it
drums.
typically happens when we're whether it be by design or by accident, when we're playing, whoever is playing bass ends up like meandering over to the kit.
Mhm.
And
Always.
it's always cool because then it's like I just get to
Moseying
sit
on
there
over.
and like I'm sitting there behind the kit and I just like
And
you
you
get
just
that little just like moment
jive.
and then they go back away.
Feel
But
that pulse.
it's really cool being able to do that with each of you guys when
Mhm.
you guys are playing bass. So it's one thing that's pretty cool for me at least that I even though I'm stuck behind the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, that's
Come visit you every once in a while.
Yeah.
and like there's sometimes like so at least when we're in practice, like I'll catch everybody in a lull. You know, like we'll all kind of be sitting there, and then like I'm like, oh shit, and I'll start get down, and I'll look over to Austin, he'll start to get down, then I'll walk back to the drum set and fucking get down with John, you know,
Yeah,
and he's just
yeah.
like, then everyone's got that
And
energy
then the
again,
next
you
thing
know?
you
Yeah.
know everyone's
So that's pretty cool. But
going,
we'll-
yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit up to the practice, but we'll bring it back towards the album here. I
Yeah.
mean, for me at least, this is what I think. I would say the guitars probably brought more of the issues than anything in it.
It was one of
The
the
album.
longest processes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, dude, there's so many guitar parts we had to record. Like,
There
there's
are.
a fuck ton
That's
of shit
true.
on there. Like
That and we
this-
stereo recorded guitars.
and then we ran into problems like where I mean, this wasn't necessarily a problem, but we had to retube your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are
there's
decisions
shit
we
like
chose
that.
to make, but
that was
it
something we
only
did right
adds time.
before, but it definitely had a time. It was
It had
just we
time,
just
yeah.
weren't happy with the tone that I was getting out of it,
And even then, you purchased the full extension.
The slave
yeah,
cab.
the
Yeah.
slave cab
Deluxe,
because when we
yeah, whatever
when
it
we
is.
redid the tubes, it made it way too
hot.
hot as
Yeah.
opposed to what I was going for was like mildly hot, and so yeah, then we
nice,
had to
a nice 6 or 7, you know.
yeah.
Well, that's what we put in there. We put in 7s.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So we
But
did
yeah,
that.
guitars
Anyways,
definitely
guitars
was.
were-
It's like you said, just the amount of guitars.
There was
15
just so many
songs, at least
fucking
one
guitars.
track. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3. If I really
Yes,
wanted it
there
in the same
are,
song, we did a little bit of production there.
In,
But
in breakdown, if you listen real hard, there's one part and there's 4 guitar tracks.
it's just
And there's
find
definitely
that.
only 2 guitars. that we have.
We
yes.
only have
But
2
it sounds
sometimes.
so-
but
so
it's not
that-
like it's nothing we
It's not
can't
overboard.
do with
No,
the
no.
harmony pedal.
Mhm.
No, and not only
Or-
that, it's like it's so background. All it's doing is adding a little bit of vibe. There's
flavor.
nothing like
Yeah,
you're not
that's-
really getting that when you're listening to the song. You're not going to hear
And
it.
most
you
of it
know
only
what?
happens for a
Guarantee it.
couple seconds here and
Unless
there,
you're really
you know?
listening for
And that's
it,
why
you're
when I
not gonna
say
hear it.
issues, because like we ran into things where we wanted so much more, but we had to
Figure out what we can do.
figure out the
live.
reality of it,
Yeah.
you know, and like how are we gonna do it? How are we gonna do it in the recording process, and then how are we gonna do it live?
Live.
Make
Yes,
it
So
that
like,
was a big
are we
physically
gonna be able to do it on a
possible.
harmony pedal like you were saying, or are
Yes.
we not gonna be able to? Are we gonna have to cut that out? So maybe we shouldn't do it on the album, or maybe we should do it on this different. Like there was so many
Yeah.
pedals, there was so many plugins, like there was
Options.
just
Yeah.
so many
options.
options that we had to go through.
That was a
because
huge thing.
Yeah,
Each of our
different heads,
songs.
different heads, different.
Well, the
whatever.
cool thing that's what I like about us. Like each of our song has a different like genre feel. I think.
Sort of
So
vibe.
like
Yeah.
we had
You
to
got a
really
couple that-
hone in, which was
they
the
kind of
cool part
vibe
about
together,
it.
but
We,
I want to say like Ivory Free and Close to You. Those are really close. Or like
Well, I
Bad
mean,
and Breakdown.
a few
are
of
really
certain
them- a
close.
few of
songs are
them
gonna
but
stick
like
together
similar,
well,
but
but
there's-
Compare Breakdown to
through all
come a
15
little closer.
songs, you can find like
Yeah.
different
Mhm.
influences in the
Mhm.
songs. You
Yeah.
can really hear it, you know.
And I like how it does do that. It takes you for a little bit of a ride.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
get
not
up
to
and downs and
mention
up and downs.
We had horns before
Yes.
this process,
Yeah,
and
that-
now we don't.
Yes.
So
That kind of fucks
And-
up a little bit.
yeah, it was a rough loss for us, but like I think we've been able to make the sound, but a lot of that came with making a bass guitar part more like a rhythm guitar part. That way,
Yeah.
the one guitar player that we have on the
Could do
track
leads.
can do leads and get
Yeah.
more melody out there behind the vocals and
Yeah.
with the rhythm and everything to
And
give the album movement.
It ended up being the only song that has horns is Her Healing, which we wrote when we originally had horns.
Yeah.
That's the only song.
And
on
it was
with horns.
kind of like a hook.
It was kind
so
of
we-
imperative to the song,
Yes.
so we made sure
It was
that
kind of a
stayed.
hook, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else we kind of reworked and really
There's
just
no
made it
horns in the rest of it.
doable for the just
Are
for
there
just
really
us
no
here.
horns? in
No,
this?
that's the only song with horns.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's
we put some
tasty.
piano in some of the songs.
Yeah, we threw some
and
Yeah,
organ
some, like,
chimes,
some
some
chimes, and some big bells or whatever.
maybe
Yeah,
some
so
orchestral
yeah, I
did some
features in
cool
one
sound
song. You'll have to
effects
wait
and
to hear
stuff.
that.
Yeah, some cool sound effects.
So kind of a funner for your guitar heads out there. How many guitars did you guys use on the album? I don't even know this.
We did 3,
One.
right, or 4?
2, 3.
And what were they?
I think we just did the
That's all I
3.
showcased in the guitar video. Was the
I
3
think we just
guitars.
did 3. I think we did
We
my
had more
PRS, your
options.
Telecaster. Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
we
lots of
just went
options,
with
but
that.
we
We
liked
only
the guitars
chose
that
the-
were-
We didn't.
couple
We
of
didn't
the-
know
the
acoustic and
PRS.
maybe.
No.
There's
No,
no-
we did not
Custom
doing any
24,
acoustics.
right? And
Yeah,
then
the
we had.
PRS.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dylan. Do it again.
Oh, okay. Well, you say it. It's your guitar.
Oh, the
I don't remember.
PRS.
Yeah.
The
It's a
the
SE
student edition
custom
24, yeah, the
something
SE,
or other.
yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm. And then we used
Um,
John's guitar.
Yeah, my baby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a
Good man.
2017 Fender Telecaster. It's a seafoam green, and it's the special edition
he's
with the
got the color
full
in there.
rosewood neck. I
He's
love
got
Beautiful.
that.
deep on
And then I've got the 1980s Japanese
gets
Telecaster
off
with
to that
the
guitar. Yeah.
I just love
Stratocaster neck on that, and they're just
I
great.
work at Guitar
Yeah,
Center,
they're
Monkey
great
Head, sorry.
instruments. So
Yeah, no, we used.
we had some good
We-
gear
guitars
to
were
use.
fun.
I was
We
very
had lots
happy
of
with
options,
that.
but we stuck to our
did.
guns on that. Like those are all 3 really,
Well,
really, really nice.
we
sounding
also
guitars,
have
and they're
your
also
Telly. We've got your
Mhm.
Epiphone. We now have the Jag in there. Like there's a
Yeah.
couple different options.
Well, we're gonna have some fun.
But
on the
what we
next album,
have,
but-
like those 3 guitars, like alone have a very different tone on
Oh,
each
yeah.
guitar. And
Speaking of the difference in genres, that definitely helped us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind
we
of
used there was a
find
sporadic
different
accentuate
sounds
that,
and,
yeah.
Well, like a lot of the lead stuff and like
was
the,
on the PRS,
solos we
mhm.
did on the PRS.
Because I
And
mean,
then-
because
we
we
had
do
that
have
that
some
really
really
heavier
arrangement
like
arranging
stuff.
part at the end to relate. We ended
Yeah,
up doing
doing
on the PRS, but we
PRS.
tried that part on every
single guitar, yeah.
That's-
pretty
yeah, we
much.
did. Just
That's
to try
always
to
the
get the right-
process. Yeah, going through.
Well,
certain-
but what's funny is we did that on that, but then on Relate you did the lead on my Telly
Mhm.
because it was just so warm sounding
yeah.
and
Oh,
I
I've
loved
played
it.
your guitar multiple times.
And actually, you
so-
track guitar on this album.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
what I was
that's
gonna bring up.
right.
You used to
what
tell
we
me.
were saying from back to the basses. I like I said, I played bass for a long. That's all I did, and then I picked up the ukulele and I play uke on a few songs. But this was the first album I actually got to play guitar on. And if you know me at all, or if you've seen us, like, 1 second, we're gonna take real quick cut to the commercials here, and we'll be right back. Welcome
like
back. This is the First Desert Fish podcast. 1 hour special. We're talking about It's Getting Late. Where we
We are.
left off, we were on the guitars. Like I was saying, I come from a bass background. That's what I first learned. Honestly, if I can say this for a second, you guys have a musical background. You went through band in high school. Unfortunately, I wasn't blessed with that.
Cool enough.
I didn't do that. Actually, honestly, the thing is Dylan brings
Just
up. He
saying.
says I wasn't cool enough, and in the application
Did
to
I?
be in band, you have to be cool enough. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I wasn't there. I wasn't there at the time, so
he's ready now, but yeah,
For
it's
sure.
fine.
I was accepted in, and I'm grateful for it. I'm blessed, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
We're glad.
But
I'm
yeah,
glad to have
back
you.
back to reality here. You guys have had musical background, which I unfortunately didn't get to have. But
Extensive.
between you guys, you've taught me a lot, which is awesome. So like I don't know as much as they. So like when they pick up guitar, they're able to pick up bass as well, and it's semi easy for you guys. You know the background, or you even if you were to pick up guitar, you have that sense of
Yeah,
it. You know.
Yeah, I have I understand the mechanics of a guitar. I can record one. I can look at one and know how it works, but I am still a little bit lost on.
Not
and
only that, you
on the
have
scales of
opinions
it.
though. When we
Oh,
start,
yeah, I do
when
have-
we
like, I
start
can-
coming
I
here
can
like,
sing
hey,
a
try
part to
this
you.
note instead.
Yeah,
like,
I can sing
I
a
kinda
part
know
at
what to
you,
go
but I
here,
can't tell
yeah.
you what fret to push. Like I have ideas on melodies and things like that. Like I originally played horn in high school, or in middle school, whatever.
Throwback.
I don't know.
however long
So, yeah,
but
like,
yeah,
This back to where we were, but on like this is my first guitar song, you know. So like I didn't
And you
for me
killed it.
to pick up guitar was a little bit harder for me. for the aspect of me than you guys like switching to bass, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool, and I did. You guys, like I said, honestly, Dylan has probably taught me the most in anything ever because
He's a
well,
good teacher.
you're welcome, young apprentice. Yeah, anytime.
at least for the music aspect, not in everything ever. But,
No, I've taught him a lot of things.
yeah, because
people.
I mean, we
I'm gonna show you a few
show
things.
me the ropes. Right?
But I want to mention for you on this album too, you've kind of stepped out of your comfort zone where, in the sense of, back in the day, you've always had an instrument kind of on you, and there's many songs on this album. We really just wanted you to focus.
took,
For those of you
off
that
the
don't know,
leash
Nick
and we're
Spit's Hot
like,
Fire.
there you go.
So we wanted him
be-
to
don't-
so just don't focus on anything else. Just get that song, deliver those vocals, and it's then it brings the music into a little core. But
Yeah, I love
it
having
just
you as
it
a
just
front
shines a
man.
light
And
on
that's
you.
honestly,
more
I
when
don't
you
feel
do that.
comfortable anywhere else, and rather just having the mic and running around the stage like that.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
I
So
love,
you're
I
so
love
good
watching.
You're
at it.
cooler than
yeah.
any of us, so it should be you. Yeah. So.
See, I took that cool set. They didn't let me into music
Yeah.
school, so
No,
I was like,
now
I'm gonna
you-
be the coolest there ever was.
And then
I
he
was just
just.
kidding.
I would
shot
much
to the
rather
top.
you do that, and I can just hide behind the kid with no microphone ever on my.
But
on my
for a
voice.
second, can we imagine if the roles were switched?
Nope.
And
Mm-mm.
Nick
Austin
had to
was
play
the
all guitar-
lead
No,
man.
no. If Dylan got to run around the stage, he was sitting there practicing like.
Oh gosh.
That's true.
If I didn't have an instrument behind me, I literally don't know what I would do. Like what do I do with my hands? That would be me most of the time. Like
Dylan's an awesome dude, but he is probably the most awkward.
yeah, I'd
I don't
probably just
know.
Mick Jagger.
I'm
on
pretty
stage.
Austin does
awkward.
give a
Yeah.
run for his money, but
Yeah.
As much
Yeah.
time as I
Austin
sit behind
likes
the
to
kid,
stare
I
right
feel
into
like
the
they're
camera.
more awkward than I am.
for real.
Now I do.
Nah, nah, you guys have picked it up a lot. I mean, so that was kind of like a little bit of talking about the guitars, but back to like maybe the issues. I've written down here the 7/8 part. If you want to talk about
Oh,
that,
yes.
a little bit. So we did a time
signature?
signature
Mhm.
change in this, and that was kind of something we
That
wanted
was
to.
the first time we did that too.
Yeah, first time we've ever done it. We wanted to toy with it a little bit. So if we can talk about that for a little bit, because it did give us a little bit of a
Mhm.
headache.
Yeah, it pushed us as musicians. I think I love, like, coming from the background that I come from, metal and punk and all that kind of stuff. It
And
always is
drumline.
like, yeah, and
Mhm.
drumline, switching time signatures, doing weird stuff, like kind of playing out of the box. Trying to never make a part happen more than once in a song.
Mhm.
That's kind of my mindset when we go into writing. So like we have to make a balance between that. And when it came down to it, we were all like, let's put a time signature switch.
We just
and
wanted to
I
do
loved the idea. And I was like, hell yeah.
absolutely.
I loved the idea because like I'd always thought of it like when we were on drumline, it's like time signatures just switch
Switch all the
sometime.
time. Yeah.
That's fine, but I had never done it on guitar.
It's,
I've never
it's
written
different when you
anything
have
with it.
you
Yeah,
have to
the
like you have
creative
to,
and you have
control.
to
create,
Not only that,
create
yeah.
a melody around it
Exactly.
Yeah.
too,
You have to
and make
create
it
it,
and
incorporate
drive
everything.
it and like
'Cause-
have it resolve to the one
Right,
just in
right.
the right way.
Mhm.
So
And like when we're playing music in drumline, it's already written. We just have to learn it.
Exactly.
Like we're creating it in this point.
Mhm.
We're writing it. So
Mhm.
to make it flow the right way, and that was our biggest issue. I think was having it blend and not feel awkward
Out of
and
place.
forced.
Mhm.
Yeah.
speaking of, we gotta thank
Transitions.
Miguel for
Yes.
helping out.
Mhm.
with
Thank
that
you to
because
our boy.
Miguel is
Miguel's
the guy
done a
that
lot
does
for
all the
us.
guitar tech work for
Yep.
us.
Miguel Carranza.
And
He's amazing.
He came over and because
Multiple times,
the
actually.
band that he's in, their band plays in other time
Mhm. Yeah,
signatures
he's a
like it's
great
no one's
musician.
business. They're just like, oh, well, you want
it's
to
like-
play in like 9/18?
and then
Let's
switch
go
it
for
real quick.
9/18.
Or
Nah,
whatever.
he's a
Whatever.
really good
I don't
guitarist,
know.
and he's an awesome guitar
Some
tech.
fraction.
Some
He'll actually-
fraction.
That don't make no
some
sense.
fraction.
He's
They're just
gonna-
like, let's go for it.
He's gonna be at the show at the Rialto, so go say what's up to Miguel.
Yeah,
He'll
he
be
can-
around.
he's in, and he
He'll be
works
hanging
at
out. He works.
he
with
works
me
at
Guitar
Guitar
Center.
Center off of Orange Grove in Thornydale. If you're here in
Yep.
Tucson, if you're a musician, you have any questions about guitars,
Yep.
anything,
He's
go
an
see
amazing
him. If you
guitar
want
tech.
guitar
He does
setup
all the
done to
guitar
your
tech work
guitar.
for Desert Fish.
Bass
He does all the
guitar
guitar tech
use.
work for my studio. Anytime I buy new guitars, or every 3 months,
He's
whatever.
a handsome man.
He sets
he
them
really
all up.
is.
Oh yeah, he is.
That's
Yeah,
true.
ladies. I don't know if he's
No,
taken-
No,
He's-
he's,
he's
definitely
definitely just
married.
got
Okay,
married.
not
He's,
ladies.
he's
Married.
definitely just got
Sorry.
married.
Dylan,
Sorry, wifey. I'm
Dylan's
sorry.
not Miguel's friend anymore.
Don't listen to him.
Miguel's gonna not be happy. with that.
No,
So
but he
anyways.
came in and helped us write that 7/8 part, and it's actually he's in. This,
I love it.
He's
It's
in the
one of my
guitar
favorite
studio
parts on the
update.
album
You can see
now.
him in there. He's helping us.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, that
you
was a
mentioned
fun
it too.
collaboration too. It was
Yes.
fun to sit
We
down
threw
with
in that-
him and pick his brain on like
Yeah.
where he thought it should go, and like still trying to like make it sound like something that I would write and like put
Right.
my influence on the parts that he was coming up with. So that
I mean,
was,
getting to work with musicians like that is
Uh-huh.
it's so fucking awesome. Like I love
Yeah, it's
I,
a part
I
of the
love
fun.
that shit. And that
Mhm.
kind of brings me into our next thing here is we had 3 features on the album.
Yes.
Working with them and getting their kind of input on what they think they should be in the album, or how was it kind of like working with everybody? I know it was
fun
at
because
least
they all had different personalities.
they,
when
they were
Yeah.
three
They really did.
really
Very
different people.
Yeah.
Yep.
you
Different
know?
genres.
So
Awesome.
I guess
backgrounds,
let's
different- a
let's
lot
start
of
with
things.
Adam Chavez. Adam Chavez is a longtime
Awesome.
friend. He went to high school with us as well,
Mhm.
and he did the bass part for Fat, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
When he
Which,
came in, I feel like
It was so natural.
it was so natural. Like
we
it
would
was
do
like
it
we didn't
forever.
even miss a beat. He's recorded with us before. He hasn't recorded bass with us before, I don't think, but he
Yeah.
used to record drums for us all the time, and he knows the process. He's been there and done it. So like when he came in, he was only here for a couple hours,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
One day, a
I wasn't
couple
even
hours.
there.
One day,
he
a
came
couple
in and-
hours. He came in, just
Knocked it out of the
sat
park,
down
dude.
and was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this song, cool."
And it is his bass line, so he knew what he was
He knew
doing. But
exactly
and like I
what he
said,
was
we had the
doing.
chemistry, so it was.
Mhm.
I guess it was
We're
pretty
really
smooth.
smoothly, and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
more than willing to come do that with us, and we were super happy
And
to have him.
Thank you, Adam, for
Yes,
letting
thank
us
you, love you,
use that
buddy.
bass line on our album. We appreciate
Indeed.
it, man.
Yeah. It was fun recording with him on mine because I was running the board at that point. I was running the stream.
And that's
so.
another bass player for you to play drums to.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
You
I
got so
believe all our
many.
features will be at the show. So
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
hopefully get them all
All the
there.
features will be
so
there.
it'll be fun doing that. But no, like you said, we've known Adam for a long time. I've known Adam for a hell of a long time, since high school, whatever.
Since drumline.
Since drumline. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
like another
the
person
four
that
of
was
us
on
were
the,
actually
the
on
drum
the
yeah,
line.
we were
at the
all
same
four
time.
of us were on the
Us
drum line at
three
the
and
same
Adam.
time. Yeah.
And then I guess that'll bring us to our next one. Noah Rock, another really good friend we've known for forever.
Yeah, from
I
our-
haven't though.
I
Okay,
actually
well, at
played my
least-
first show with Noah.
Did you play
really?
recently?
Ever.
I didn't know
no,
that.
my first show that I ever played was with Noah.
Well, he
Really?
was at the same show.
It's a
yeah.
Grind Coffee. No. Like me and Noah played. I
Oh.
actually played
didn't know
drums
that.
for him. I played a hi hat and a snare because he does like indie
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
indie
rock.
like
yeah.
rock stuff.
It was in like
He does indie rock.
it was
yeah.
like either 8th grade or like the summer of 8th grade or something like that.
That's
but
funny,
yeah,
dude.
I
maybe
didn't know that.
maybe 9th grade. But yeah, we.
But
played
that's
our first show
another
together.
friend who,
My
once
first show,
again,
at
we've
least.
known from high school. We went to, he was in band for a little while too. So
Was he really?
yeah,
I
he
didn't know
was.
that.
Yeah, he was in
in
percussion
middle school. We were
freshman
in
year.
band together, and
Mhm.
freshman
And in
year he
middle
was in
school.
See,
there.
I was
so-
Jazz
I
band.
was just far enough behind you guys in school where I never met him in
Mhm.
percussion,
See,
and I never met him until he came to record.
The only way I know him is he was really, kind of hanging out with the same group as Brendan Peterson, who is BJ in the morning. They run a podcast as well.
Awesome, dude.
He also helped us film our music video for one of our
and
songs.
helped us on the album art. And
Album art.
He's
He's helped us.
doing
He's helped us
the-
with a
the
lot
inside
on this
cover,
album.
yeah.
Thank you,
Definitely shout
Brendan,
out to
for everything
Brendan.
you've fucking done.
We
best.
we actually gonna be on BJ in the morning.
Yes,
but
we're
but
not-
being back to Noah, like I knew him as
No,
like
no,
I,
pump
I
that
wore
later.
I wore seafoam green girl pants and he wore pink Crocs and blue like
rainbow
bright blue
t-shirts. Yeah,
pants
it
and
was a
rainbow
fun
t-shirts.
time.
So like that's
Anyone
kind of how we
remember the
connected.
mid 2000s? Yeah, that's what was going on in there.
So to get him being friends with him from freaking freshman fucking year, like that was
Mhm.
forever ago. You know, like and him coming to be on this album was really fucking cool. And we've had this song for a while. He's on Irie
He
Free.
Yeah.
actually wrote that
Yeah.
song in the backyard at the fishbowl. Which was
Yeah,
the
he wrote
first
Which is
song.
cool
When you
because
have
his
most of
lyrics,
us-
we
his
had
lyrics
the
straight up
song
mention
and we were
that.
jamming, and he just came into a circle that we were playing and just started singing.
Mhm.
And that's
He's
where
always
that
had this really
part came
distinct
from.
voice, you know.
He's got a very
and he's
indie
always been
voice.
playing, you
Mhm.
know, guitar and just singing songs ever since I've known him, and so it wasn't hard to think back to him and make sure we wanted to get him back on this album and get that authentic sound that it kind of comes from him. So
Yeah, see, I didn't meet him until he came to record his vocals.
Yeah, you haven't known him that long.
I never heard him sing.
We were pretty much just like,
nothing.
"Hey, John,
Hey,
we're
trust
having this
us
guy
on
over.
this." Yeah, exactly.
Trust it." And you were like, "All right, I don't know him."
Yeah,
and we
no,
were
like
don't worry.
I trust
about
you
it."
guys on
And it's
your
probably,
musical
like, one of your
decisions.
I
so
always hear you singing his verse.
I love Noah's verse on that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
he
it's
fucking
it's
kills
so
it,
good.
dude.
And like
Every
I
note
loved
is-
the verse before when we were writing and you were singing it, and then I heard Noah sing it, and like
He sings
going
so much
into
better
it,
than I do.
going into it, I was
Yeah.
like. I was like, all right, we're gonna see
I'm not
what
gonna
happens
even
here
argue
because
with
I
that.
never
It's
met
not
him,
gonna
never
be
heard
meaner.
him.
No,
whatever.
it's not
And
me.
he sung
It's
it,
just facts.
and I'm in love with that
He's
verse.
just
I love that verse.
he's just Noah.
Yeah.
You can't do.
He's
He
Noah.
like,
killed it.
like we said before, he's got such a distinct voice. Like he's super indie, and he's got that almost like he reminds me of like an Anthony Green type thing. Like that's what
Mhm.
he
That's
kinda
one of
has
his
going
big
on.
influences.
Yeah, you can
And
hear it
then-
in him.
And then that will bring us to probably the newest person, that, at least for me, that I've known would be Tyler Gold. I
Yeah.
believe his name is, and he's in Straight Villain.
Straight
They will be playing with
Yeah.
us.
They've been
Fucking
around in
phenomenal
Tucson for a
band.
long
If we
time.
can just talk about that for a
Members,
second,
yeah.
like if you haven't heard Straight Villain,
they've
take the
got
time
a
out
really
to look at the
unique,
for
songs.
sure.
authentic sound, kind of funky, almost even
We
jazzy.
vibe really
like
well with them too,
reggae.
though,
Oh my
because
God,
we.
dude,
when
I
we-
love everyone in their band. They're
Well,
fucking
I love
cool.
everyone in their band, but also when we play shows together, like our styles are pretty similar. Like
They
really
we're pretty
jive
eclectic,
well
and they're pretty
together.
eclectic
Uh-huh.
in their style, and I don't know. It seems to always go awesome.
Yeah.
But so we did have Tyler specifically on the
Yes.
on
Yeah.
Yeah,
breakdown
he's their
as the
main
album.
vocalist.
And man, if this dude can't spit a fucking rap verse,
Yeah, man. He's
Yeah.
got once again, such an authentic sound. We couldn't pass up getting him on this album just because he's so unique and he really.
coming out, never get been on the track.
Yeah,
Oh my
there
That's
God,
why
it's
Nick
so
doesn't
good.
do
Yeah,
that
that's
verse.
awesome.
But boy, I
you,
tell you what,
Dylan.
Tyler does it real well. So
Boy,
check that
howdy,
out.
Tyler does it real well.
Yeah, no, he came in, he fucking,
Where we gave him the track to come listen to,
Technical
and he just showed
difficulties.
up.
I think he,
Technical difficulties. We
Okay.
are having some technical
okay,
You know,
difficulties.
I
at the
we're
want
just
moment.
gonna
to give me
pause.
one second. I just want to let you guys know we're trying to film this as a video podcast as well. My camera is not cooperating, so I apologize for the cuts. But we will be right back after these quick commercial breaks. All right, guys, welcome back. I apologize for the technical difficulties, like I said before.
guys.
We're talking
We'll,
about
we'll
our
figure it
boy
out next time.
Tyler.
Or
Yes, our boy.
we
Tyler.
were talking
boy.
about Tyler Gold, a phenomenal fucking human being and musician. Spit a fucking great verse.
Yeah,
What is
yeah,
it?
great
Killer.
verse.
Full throttle and a model and a hatchback. Like,
Full
Full
throttle
throttle
with a
with a
model
model
and a
and a
hatchback.
hatchback.
Just a
Like,
beautiful line.
what-
Where the map
Model,
at?
model, and a hatchback.
so like when he
His
came
flow
in,
is
he
killer.
fucking just
Yeah.
did it.
He just came. We gave him the track
He's so
in advance,
professional, dude.
and he
just
showed
came
up,
in did it.
and
With the verse
he just showed up with the verse written, and we all already loved it. And maybe we tweaked like one or two little small things, but
Yeah.
he was ready to go.
Honestly,
just
he was
right
only
then,
here for like an hour, or
Mhm.
not an hour, but like maybe like a couple
An hour
hours
or
or
two,
so.
yeah.
I mean,
and
he's
just got it
he's a
done.
vocalist, like
Yeah.
any of us. Like we're just
He's
like,
been
no,
doing
no,
it.
no,
He's a
no,
little
I want
older
to do it
than
again.
us too, so
Yes.
he's probably been at it a
he's
little
been
longer.
at it a
So
bit.
Oh, he's been at it a lot longer, I'm sure. So I mean, those were our features on the album, and I can ask. I mean, we tried to get a few more, which were a little out of our league.
You
but-
know, of course,
we
we
shot
we
for the
shot-
stars.
We-
Yeah,
exactly,
but
you
it's
shoot
alright.
for the stars.
The
yeah.
ones
If
that we
you
got,
don't,
I'm
then
so
what
happy
are you
with
gonna
who we
do?
have on the
Exactly,
album.
like
It's
the-
a lot of local
yeah.
support, and this is
Yeah,
our
there's
first
no disappointment
debut
on this
album.
album.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
So we'd like to thank Adam Chavez, Tyler Gold, and Noah Rock for all
Yes,
your
for
input
being
on
part.
this and
Much
being a
love,
part of it.
guys.
Thank
You're
you
the
guys.
best.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
You'll
so
always
much.
be in our little Desert Fish family, of course.
For sure.
And I guess that'll move us on to. I don't
Little
even think
family.
you know really,
Yeah.
John.
Huh.
Where does Desert Fish come from? The
Yeah.
name?
No, I
From
don't.
We hail from
Josh,
Tucson,
don't know.
Arizona. I'm
Okay,
just kidding,
so
you guys know
so
that.
if you
We
don't,
hail from
I'm sure
Tucson.
you guys don't know because this dude is not. He hasn't been around for a long time. But Josh Whitlock.
Yep. From
It's-
Josh.
It's Josh Whitlock, a guy that we love. He's a great guy. He gave us a name, but he didn't even give us a name. He just said he always called himself a
had
desert
scent.
fish.
Yeah, he lived in Cali, I believe, and he always felt like he belonged
No,
when we were
he
hanging out
lived
with him.
here.
Well, he lived in
originally
Cali
came
and
from
then
California.
came back.
He's
Right,
lived in here. That's in Tucson. That's where we met him for a long time. Anytime we'd be drinking, oh, nice one, bro.
Pull me up, Johnny.
We don't have
Hey,
a
there's no
Johnny.
Johnny,
There's no
guys.
Johnny?
I'm sorry, we're not
I
that
can-
cool yet.
Well, you guys
Um,
discuss where Desert Fish came from. I can go do that.
Okay, have fun. So he'd always
Okay,
tell
we'll
us,
discuss John.
I let's go out to the beach, dude. Let's just drive. Let's just go. Like, I'm a desert fish. I need to go out there. And so it's just kind of something that was always stuck. So we were like, desert fish. That's kind of cool. Not to mention back in the day, fish was a slang word for the ganjas.
Yeah,
so here out in
we used it as a
Arizona,
code
so-
word when we were around our parents and
Mhm.
whatnot. To be like,
So we were desert fishers, you know.
Yeah.
So
Let's go
it's just
fishing.
always stuck. It's
Let's go
and
fishing.
we're from the desert. We're from Tucson, Arizona. So I've had a lot of people tell us that it really does encapsulate our sound and where we come from really well. So I've always loved the name.
Yeah, I mean, and we've like it's in the same aspect as Josh. Like he always wanted to be near the beach or in near the ocean, you know. So like we've kind of always had that same like
desire almost.
we've
Same
lived
desire,
here
yeah.
our whole life. So like we love the desert, but we want to get the fuck out of it, you know.
Of course,
So-
everyone loves the beach.
You gotta visit the beach.
It's just
every
so
once in a while.
expensive
It's
to
just-
live out
yeah.
there.
So I mean, that's pretty much where it came from, you
Yeah.
know. Like,
I think so.
there's those two aspects. We kind of put them together. Like, oh, we really want to do this, and we love weed. So.
Yeah,
Well, I guess we'll wait for John real quick.
the boys
What
have
do we have
pouring up
next?
drinks.
The next Johnny or John. Eh?
Pour me up, Johnny.
It says John. Okay. Well, the next question will be, how did we all meet? Because I honestly I distinctly remember how I met Dylan and Austin. I do.
Oh, man.
That was
a
That'll be
good
fun
night.
So
story.
in one of my old bands, it was called No Parking Zone. We had all the instruments in the garage, and I was out there playing my bass. I was figuring out my bass lines and whatnot, and two motherfuckers just busted the door, dude.
These guys.
Two mean mugging looking fools, dude. Busted the door. Don't
Yeah.
even
The
look at me. One short motherfucker walks straight to the drum set, and then one douchebag looking guy picks up a guitar. And I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? What the hell is going on here? And I walked inside, and Zach and Dale, our drummer and guitarist
Of our old band.
I was like, dude, there's 2 guys out there just like playing your instruments. And he was like, yeah, they're cool. I know them. They're cool. And I was like, no, they're looking at me all pissed off. They do not look like good dudes. I thought they hated me or some shit, dude.
They definitely
What's
look
so
like
funny is I remember that day, of course, too, but I was just
yeah.
like, he didn't tell us anyone was going to be in the garage. He just said, go in there. And we go out, and you're just sitting there like, I don't think you said anything to
I
us.
said no
You
words.
just looked at us.
Yeah,
So we were like, what's up? I just walked to the instruments like,
He was like, yeah, go ahead and go out there and jam or whatever. So we did, and
This
you
is
just
weird
happened to be
looking
there.
dude.
And then
Yeah,
that
sitting
night
in the
we had
garage.
a desert party in the middle of the desert. This is before we were of age. Sorry, mom and dad.
sorry, Mom. Love
Sorry.
you.
But me and Dylan, we bonded. We got, for some reason, we stripped down to our underwear and we were
Oh,
combing
man.
chicks' hair, and we bonded that night, and we became friends from that
I
point
can't
on.
believe you just told that story, but that's okay.
Hey, what?
We'll get it out there. No, that was a great night. We were running around just partying in the desert, and for some reason the pants came off. And
I
we
mean, that
bonded,
happens at
dude,
desert
and,
parties,
Yeah,
so
and it was just a good
If you've ever
time.
been to a desert party, there's usually pants. That
I mean,
come
it's
off.
the desert. It's hot.
It
You
happens.
know,
Exactly.
it happens. You know.
And usually, for some reason, we light fires at desert parties.
Yeah, well, that's just
Why?
for the fun of it.
For all
I mean,
you,
if it came to John, me and John at least, the only time I met you was from Chaps. The Chaps.
Ooh, that's a nice little.
Wait,
Side
from what?
tidbit.
From the
Were you not in the
Chaps.
Chaps? I thought you
The
were.
Chaps
The
was like
Xander
our
and
drum
Matthias
line
and,
crew
the
of
Drumline
people
Chaps,
with the dog
the-
Oh,
tags.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So
I
that's
was
kind of how.
so
Okay.
jealous. I wanted to be
It's
a
been a
Chap so
minute.
bad.
It's been a minute.
It's just
Damn,
about
I forgot about that.
smoking
That was just the name of our
cigars
old
and
friend group when we were
drinking
thought we were
brews,
thought we were
cooking
cool
out
when we
together.
were 16.
Yeah, we
yeah.
thought we
When
were cool.
because I came into high school, Matthias was a senior, and you guys
Uh-huh.
were all
Sophomores.
juniors, sophomores, or
Juniors, yeah.
juniors.
Juniors.
Yeah.
Because that would have been your freshman year was when you were
Yeah,
juniors.
yeah. So
when
that's
we
how I met all you guys through drumline.
And you got on
stuff.
drumline your freshman year, correct?
No.
Or no, you were in Pitt.
I was
that
in Pitt
first
my
year.
freshman year. I played
You were
vibraphone.
rocking the
The
that's right,
vibe, the
vibraphone.
vibes for
John,
the.
wait.
So we knew of you
For the
then.
Billy Joel
We
show.
didn't really
I
meet
don't
you
even
until
think that we were on drumline aside from the small stuff that I did.
You
when
No,
we
we
came back
were.
senior year. No,
We
because my
were.
senior year,
Yeah, you
which would have been
left.
your first year.
Yeah, I was on. I
drumline.
was on with Xander.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
on that drum line till the very end of the year after March.
When you came back from Georgia, yeah,
I was wow. I mean, I just knew you from being around.
right from being
Yeah.
in
Just
band and
jamming
stuff.
in the
Yeah,
band room,
I
but-
mean, somehow we've all stuck together since high school. Obviously.
yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. Is
Yeah.
that's when we really all met each other. I mean, I've known
Yeah.
Austin since just about 8th grade. You know,
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
urban
So-
free flow, dude.
Urban Free Throw,
That
mine
was-
and Austin's
yeah.
first project we did together, just some funky little jams.
guitar
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
But,
well, outside of school band, I never played with any of you guys until
I mean,
Dylan.
music wise, we never played until this.
Dylan and
at
I
least the
got
four of us together.
Mhm.
sort of involved. It was when Desert Fish was on the hiatus.
and you didn't have a
And
project going
we
either.
need,
13,
yeah.
13,
So
13,
I was in a trying to start a pop punk project, and Dylan here was
my senior year.
free agent.
first
So I was
Mhm.
like, hey man, I know
Well,
they.
we went out to 4th
Yeah,
Avenue
we
once,
went down
got
to
really
4th,
drunk and,
and I was like,
talking
dude,
about
I
music.
was like, dude, I'm
and-
trying to start this
2013.
project right
I
now.
was like,
I need another
to play
guitarist.
some music.
Yes.
So we just started working
So
out.
yeah, because I've been working with a couple other dudes on trying to get a pop punk project off the ground, which we probably will still eventually
One
put
day
out.
it'll happen.
It'll,
wanna
it'll
fucking
happen.
feature on
We've
that
got
shit,
we've
dude.
got a full EP just recorded in my
Just
computer
disclose
right
how
now.
I really feel real
What
quick.
keep an eye out for in the
Just so you know,
near
there might be
future,
some pop
you know.
punk coming your way from us.
Yeah.
But anyways, no.
like
So
that.
that's the first time I played with
Dude,
you.
anyways,
Fucking blown over.
But
Blown
anyways,
over.
no thanks.
But anyways, no.
right.
So then I joined DF, and that's
Wow.
when we started really getting close.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
when I joined the band. So
No, I always saw you guys going out. You and I saw you guys going out with John. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I don't get an invite. But that was before. Now,
Sorry about
now
that.
we all live together.
now
It
we
doesn't
live
matter.
together.
Yeah, he
I mean,
just has to
okay,
be
so I-
something
more than anyone else.
This next question I have here, I don't know if you guys want to answer it, let people figure it out for themselves, but why is the album called It's Getting Late? Do you guys want to go over it? Do you want to let people kind of...
I kind of want people to find it.
I kind of want people to find out.
Let's
yeah,
let that one
let's
wait.
let that one ride.
Okay, well.
It's
I'd
up
say
to you to
We'll
find
talk
it.
about
Yes,
it later.
this is the only
We'll
thing I'll
talk
say.
about it
This is
after.
the only
We'll
thing
have
I'll
a-
say.
We'll have a different
Listen
video
to
on
the
that
whole
later.
album.
Hopefully, if this goes well and we actually like it, I don't think we're gonna do the videos much, maybe, but
Maybe just the audio
maybe
of
we'll
the
do
podcast.
maybe we'll do podcasts every week or every other week or some shit like that, and we'll talk
Let
about
us
it
know
more
if
when
you
it
want that, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah, type
comment,
the
let
comments
us
down
know.
below.
Comments,
Tell
yeah.
us on everything.
But the
you
only thing
want
I'll
more of
say
this?
for that is listen to the full extent of the album.
Yes.
Yes, you're gonna have to listen
get it.
everything.
Everything.
through the whole thing, and you're gonna have to
And
listen
it
to
should
all the
just
way to
click.
the end.
It
should click.
Yeah.
There's a
Um,
beginning, and you hear it, and then there's a fucking distinct end. So.
And then
Yep.
also there's a middle right in there. And
Oh,
There's
it's
definitely a
pretty
middle.
good,
Dylan
too.
is actually right. There is a middle. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
There is a middle to the album.
So we'll skip over that one then. And we'll go
Yeah,
to.
we'll go over that later.
It's only been like what, maybe not even a month that we've lived together, right?
Not even a month. I
Not even a
haven't
month.
paid a second rent yet.
Okay,
so.
No,
So-
yes. So July
I still
1st.
have this on here. I mean, it's been a short time, but what is it like living together?
I
It's
love it.
beautiful.
It's
I
been
mean-
good so far.
Honestly, it would have been better when we were recording the album. I
Yes.
think.
For real, yeah.
That's just
But
so
it's still-
unfortunate.
It
it's
just
still
worked
now.
out at this point in time.
But it makes it
that-
easy now because we're all trying to run a business together, and
Yeah.
it just makes it easier to communicate with each
So
other.
for
'cause
shit
it's
like
hey,
this, you know?
yeah.
Oh yeah, for real.
It's like, hey, when can we record the podcast? Well, we'll all be home at some point
Mhm.
tonight. So
Exactly, or
let's
we'll
do
all be
it
home at this time
Yeah,
or
because right now
whatever.
we're doing this at 1:20 a.m. So
Yep. What's up? We're staying up late for you.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Good morning.
So I mean, it is fun. I like, you know, you get to wake up and you're like, oh fucking just Dylan's
Yeah,
here
you wake
and
up and
shit,
your,
you know,
your
Yeah.
best friends are already
Well,
at the
we
house
just got
you're at, so
we
it's
just got the
chilling.
nice schedule planner over there, so we all have our work schedules written out, and we
It
can
just makes
see-
the job easier.
Yeah, it makes because it's basically like we're all working at our other jobs at this time, and we're working at Desert Fish at this time.
Mhm.
So it makes it just run smoother.
And we always joke about it, but it's really true. Living together is really training for like going on tour.
It's training
Or,
for
dude.
tour.
You know,
yeah.
if you can't stand being
We
in
can't
the
live
same
in your own
house and-
room.
with your own room
Yeah.
and your, you know, like how you're gonna stand in a
never get
van
through
for a month
Yeah.
together, you know. So it's not,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
the dimensions go.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then we're
people
trapped.
understand. People, you know, if
packed.
they ever wonder why a band is like a family, it's because it
Because
takes
you
that
have to
much
be.
time
I
just
actually
to be around each
would
other.
rather.
at
I
all
would
times,
more
you know?
gear it towards a relationship.
Kind of, yeah.
You, my
Yeah,
boys.
It's a
There's
relationship,
so
but
much
it's
give
also a
and take
family.
with this
It
shit.
is.
Yeah, you got to pick and
Mhm.
choose your battles.
But I mean, that's the same.
and
It's
you
the same it is
gotta-
with your family. Like when you're
I don't
growing
know,
up.
your
you
family's
spend-
easier.
You
Like
gotta
I can.
all be committed into
I guess so,
it.
yeah.
But this is the family we choose. Families that
exactly.
we are
Like,
born
your family,
with
you
are
just
always
have to
there.
deal
You're always
with,
gonna
you
have
know?
them.
Yeah.
You know,
But like
You
this,
just have-
this
you
is
don't have
I
a choice.
chose
something
You
I
know,
chose to
yeah.
fucking live with you guys. And now
Yeah.
now I
And
have
now
now
we
we
have
have
to
to
deal with
figure
those
it out, yeah.
consequences.
No, but in all honesty, I think it's been really good so far.
There's been no. Like I haven't. I
There's
mean,
may-
exactly. It's only been 3 weeks.
It's only
but
been a
Yes,
couple weeks.
but-
That's the honeymoon stage.
we've
That's
been
true.
working on the album before this anyway, so it's
We
not
were
like we're
here-
not
We've been
spending all
here-
our free
we were
time
here
together anyway.
20
so.
hours a week.
And we
every
went
day.
on-
You
we
guys
went
were
on a little
sleeping
weekend
on
warrior.
this couch.
Oh, I
very
lived on
often
this
couch
because
for
we were
6
here
months
so
almost.
late. Even
Yeah.
I wasn't even living
I would,
here.
Yeah,
I
at
would,
that
I
point,
would
yeah.
come
Sleeping
over.
on
I'd
this
come
couch,
over
Well, because you
Monday
moved in like
morning.
January or so.
Yeah.
We'd come over
So-
Monday morning, stay the night, all the way till Wednesday when I have to go to work. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah.
All right. Sorry guys, we're gonna take a real quick break and we will be
Again.
right
We'll be
back.
back after these messages.
We'll be right back.
Time to get some beverage.
Times that by 2, buddy.
Oh. We can cut it there.
We may have to go with some darkness. I guess it just sits there.
No, it's okay. We can just
I want the drinks to magically just be full.
We can move it in Movie Maker, can't we? We can cut it.
so it hasn't been like that though.
We can cut it and then just pull it back, right?
Well, yeah, I can, but like we
Yeah.
may have gone over. I want to stop where I said that.
Hey, you know what we
No,
can
no,
do?
we can do
Future?
that, but I'm saying we
Well-
can cut that back.
There may be some black.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Oh
We'll be
shit!
back after
Should
this
we have
message.
been clapping on each of these starts?
No, it's fine because we're continuing to go.
Oh no!
It'll be fine.
we're
Yeah.
getting down there.
There's none.
When did that
There's
happen?
other. there's more whiskey down in the bottom.
I'll drink the black velvet. I don't
No,
give
there's
a
no
fuck.
black velvet
either.
There's another Seagram's.
Almost empty.
We need more whiskey.
Throw some Malibu in mine.
It's almost.
It's almost
not two
empty.
yet. Let's finish this up so we can go to the alcohol.
Hey, throw some Malibu in mine.
No, this will be enough for these drinks.
No, throw some Malibu in mine.
No, but really,
There's
throw
no
them out.
Really, I
Malibu.
want the Malibu in
So
mine.
we
Malibu
do
is just a
some
weird
leading
combo.
questions,
I don't give a fuck.
then the outro. So get the. All right, guys, welcome back. We were just talking about what it's like living together, but we're gonna move on. We asked you guys to ask us questions on our social media accounts: Instagram,
Yes.
Twitter, Facebook. If you haven't followed us, please go follow.
And on the YouTube channel.
And
watch
their
our
YouTube
stuff.
as well. So John's got the questions. He'll be asking them here. So
All right. So John, our buddy from Straight Villain, he says, yeah, I got a question. Which one of you snores at night, and who sleeps naked?
well, I
fun.
definitely snore. I don't sleep naked, but I have been told I sleep fart. Sleep
You
fart.
got the sleep,
Sleep
tubes.
farts. Nah,
There's that.
Austin's the big snorer
He's
over
the
here.
guy.
Austin snores like crazy. for
Loud
sure.
as
Too
fuck.
much. I don't know that I do it because I'm asleep. But
Obviously, yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
else knows.
The
Everyone
loudest snore
knows.
I've ever known in my entire life. Like
Yeah.
he'll keep me up just from him snoring. I stayed in a hotel room with you one time.
I shared a bed with
and
him in
that
a
was
hotel
just
room.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to get past, but you know,
So I think
Although
I am
granted,
the
I
snorer
probably
of
snored
the
that
band.
night.
I
That
am
was the
a
worst.
boring vanilla mofo because I don't snore and I
Oh,
don't
I-
sleep naked.
I'm
except
glad. I'm
for
glad Austin.
occasionally, but-
I'm glad that he snores because it's how we kept him alive when we were on tour last year.
It's true.
If you don't
I
already
fed him
know,
pistachios.
Yes.
And he,
Dylan is a fucking devil.
Dylan tried to
dude.
kill Austin.
He tried to kill me
Apparently.
straight up. He used our
So-
gas money on pistachios. Hey, so for future reference, just don't use your gas money on stupid shit.
Okay, pistachios are
Yeah,
healthy and they're
for
a
real.
great snack for the band.
And they
okay?
also kill
and they
you.
kill
They
Austin.
kill your
I didn't
band
know,
members.
Kill Austin.
but
No, so we're
I didn't know I was
driving.
allergic to
we're
them.
we're outside. We're like an hour and a half outside of Phoenix, heading towards Cali.
At
And
least.
Just nothing in
everyone else
between.
has been drinking that night. Austin and I are sober because we're the drivers of the night. We're chilling. I got a CD, and everyone else is almost sleeping. It's good vibes, whatever.
And it's so quiet.
It's so quiet. It's
and then
and
I
then
come
out
up
of
with this.
nowhere,
I
I'm
say,
driving, and Austin just looks at me and goes,
Hey,
"Hey, John, I don't want to worry you." And in my head, I'm like, "What in the fuck is about to happen right now?" And then it's
So-
silence for a solid minute. And then he's like, "I think I'm allergic to those pistachios." And I was like, "Nah, he's just freaking out." And then we turn the light on. His whole face is
Fucking
his eyes,
up,
his eyes are like
dude.
closing,
His
and
cheeks were out like 2
Oh,
inches, dude.
massive.
I'm like, if I stop breathing, you're gonna have to call 911.
But we're also barreling down the highway at 70 miles an hour, headed
at
towards
least
Cali.
like 2 hours from
2
any
hours from
major
anywhere.
city, like
So
We
I'm
wasted
like, all
another
right.
hour, too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
I
went-
googled
we-
nearest hospital, and we find this
trust Google
rickety.
people.
No, we find this rickety ass.
We
weird
drove like an
little-
hour out of the way,
to get there.
to
this
go to
place.
this like in the middle of nowhere with one helipad,
helipad in a small
just
little
a
like,
building.
house almost.
And there was one light on, and,
And
when
we
we
got
drove
there-
up, we opened the door and the light shut off.
It
We were
shut
just like
straight
and
off.
we were like, what?
in the
And then
middle of no, we were
like
creeped out.
it
So
was
I get
on
out-
the whole time we were
Oh, yeah.
driving up, and as soon as we parked, it was like
off. And we
And
pull
Nick
up, and
was
I
like-
get out, and I'm like wandering around, and I just hear Nick from the back of the van just. This is how horror movies start. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
we
I'm getting
should
back
go.
in the van.
yeah, it honestly looked like some place that just like straight recruits you in and harvests your organs.
Oh,
and
yeah,
sells
it
them
was
on the black
scary.
market. It was a scary place.
So then
As-
we drove,
Yeah.
and on the way there, I was going like 85, 90 with the trailer and all our gear and everything. It was bad. And then
on the way back, I was like, I think it's gonna
it's okay.
calm down.
Yeah,
I think it's
and then
gonna
we
be fine.
pumped you full of 2 days worth of allergy Benadryl.
yes.
And then went to a gas station, washed your face off in your hands,
yeah,
and then the whole ride, you were supposed to be my extra driver. And
But if you've ever tried to take allergy pills,
They put you to
stay
fucking
away.
sleep.
Let me tell you, it doesn't work.
And so
Like,
that
as
brings
they
us
were.
back to the snoring. As he was falling asleep,
Sleep, yes.
we needed to make sure
Yeah,
he was alive, and he did that for us. Because if he was
Yes.
snoring, we
But
knew
as
he
soon
was
as he
alive.
stopped snoring,
we had to
Dylan and I
punch him and shake
would,
him.
yeah, Dylan couldn't drive because had been drinking.
But I couldn't sleep either because John was by
Yes.
himself. So I had to stay. My drunk ass had to stay up all night in the back
with
seat
Austin
with.
punching.
They just
Yeah.
had to
Keeping
beat
off-
me up
yeah,
to make
but
sure I was
every
awake.
time he would stop snoring, just and then
So anyway, and that leads us to the last one. I do
Yes.
believe.
I don't know if I snore or not, but I definitely sleep naked most of the time.
All right, we're gonna
Also, I
have
never
to kind
answered,
of
but
speed
I
this
sleep
up
naked
here.
Okay.
half
Well,
the
next
time.
question.
Half the time.
Next question.
Oh, next question. That would be me. All right. Galen Stewart says, "When can I get a copy of the album?"
July 20th.
July 20th. Show at the
20th.
Rialto. $5
We will have
for
hard
a ticket.
copies.
Hey guys, July 20th.
Our boys in SLS said, "What's the inspiration behind your guys' favorite song?"
Something like seduction. Just
Yes.
Sorry,
It's,
just,
the inspiration is SLS.
My favorite song off the album would be probably the first one I ever wrote, which would be Andrew James. That's about
Oh,
my
yeah.
brother. That's just been an inspiration behind that. But he just went through some drug issues, so that's what kind of wrote that.
One of my favorite songs on the album that I wrote was Pulse, which is performed by Nick, but that's about a crazy bitch. Straight up, like you'll hear the pain in the lyrics.
but it's just it's
about-
such a good song.
It's
a good
so
song.
catchy.
It's
so much
but
fun.
that's the
I love playing
inspiration
that song.
behind that one. So
Probably the most important song to me on the album is Relate. It's something. It's a song I wrote about someone that I was with for a long time. and it's just some really deep lyrics. And it
Mhm.
took me years and years and years to finally
actually put it
decide
out.
to write the song and to put the song out.
Yeah.
But it's a banger too. So
It
like
is,
it's
fun,
a
yeah.
really great song.
It's
so that's
especially towards the
it
end.
gets kinda
and the
sad,
inspiration
but
we
it's fun.
definitely took a lot of personal, I mean,
Yeah.
it's our first full length album, so we all
Mhm.
really put our own
Heart and
heart and
soul
soul
in it.
Yeah.
into it. So like,
What's
there's a
interesting
lot of
is-
stuff that inspired the album.
Yeah.
well,
that was-
let's
As
keep it quick,
the drummer,
'cause-
I didn't work on a whole lot of the lyrics, so I'm having to kind of live vicariously through you guys and your lyric writing. I wrote a little bit of lyrics,
Mhm.
but mainly it's, I don't know, my favorite songs I think are Relate and Pulse and Fat. And so
Pick
I know,
one,
just-
dude.
I don't know, man. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. I love the whole
I
thing.
know.
That's
There's
good.
15
It's-
tracks. It's hard to pick one.
It is. It's really hard.
Well, let's go to the
Uh,
But
next
you
one.
actually did write some of Tides.
I wrote some of Tides, and I love that song because I was in a good place when I was helping write those lyrics.
That's good.
A lot of time I'm not. So
Fresh off of the
that's
tour.
that's why I relate to Relate.
Fresh off
or
the
like-
tour, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
when we
That
wrote
was fresh. Yeah, it was fresh off the tour. So I was in a
that's
good. I
probably
was in a
where
good
some of that
place mentally.
inspiration
So
came
I've
like-
got one as well. I'll go ahead.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
read
go
this
ahead and do one of yours.
So our good buddy Angel Ramos, he's OG Desert Fish fan. We love him.
OG for sure.
Um,
for real.
What were some of the biggest challenges you guys faced when creating the album, and what accomplishments are you fellas most proud of?
Well, I'll
Um,
say
Go ahead.
coming to an agreement on how we want to do the album or anything.
Yeah.
It's just when there's four opinions, like one of the biggest challenges is honestly deciding what's best for everyone
Oh,
involved
mhm.
without trying to
Step on
get
anyone's
selfish
toes
or
or
step
shit,
on
you
each
know?
other's toes. Like you have to like we said earlier, you got to pick and choose your battles. But like that was definitely a huge thing for
Mhm.
us, is just deciding
yeah.
not even like in terms of music, but just like in terms of production or like timeline. Or
Yeah, and
whatever,
the
you know?
deadlines, just
Yeah.
really
Deadlines and-
making everything fall into place at the time that
I
you
think
wanted
we're finding
to.
the most issues right now.
Yeah,
Yes,
honestly,
yes, at
really
the
just
end of
getting
it.
it out,
Making sure we
producing
can
and
get
putting it,
everything
Because we want to
by
get
the
it out as
date.
fast as we can without cutting any
Without
corners.
rushing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And what are
so-
we most? What accomplishments are we most proud of?
Dude, this whole fucking thing, we've done it ourselves.
Yeah.
Once this is done,
Yeah.
this is going to be
We've
probably
done
one of the
every
biggest
fucking
accomplishments.
aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
dude.
From the
Everything,
ground up,
yeah.
there's not anything we've mixed, mastered, recorded, home studio,
Yeah.
paid for,
Yeah.
everything ourselves. So I'm
Yeah,
just,
we're not-
I'm
we're
just
not- We're
completely.
not on a
Once this is
label,
out,
we're not.
we're not on a
'Cause,
label.
I mean,
Once
our
this is
first
out, I'll
one,
just be
our
so
first
proud
one
of
we
it,
went to
like-
Luke. Our
Yeah.
second one, Luke Campbell with Great White.
second one we
Oh,
did
White,
with Jim
yeah, I don't
Pavitt
think
and
he's
Jim
recording
James.
anymore.
we did
but
Jim,
Luke
but
is
this is the
awesome.
first
Jim's
thing that we've
awesome.
done ourselves. But
Ourselves.
there's
Mhm.
really nothing like the feeling of just releasing the album and just being done with it. As far
Yeah,
as the
I'm
last
excited
two.
for that for sure.
Very cool.
Alright.
Also, Mom, I love you. Linda Abel, when are we available for lunch? I'll see you in about 10, 11 hours at noon. So hopefully I make it. Love you, Kate.
From now,
That's
not
fine.
from when you're seeing.
Yes, indeed. So I'll see you
Probably
soon,
only
Mama.
be like
A couple
4 or 5
hours
Yeah.
hours after
Yeah.
the post. Yeah.
All right.
Our buddy Alexander Delsing, Xander, what's up? He says, "What influences did you draw for this album?" Anyone? What are our
Yeah, we have
influences?
Dirty Heads is a great one I like to go
Heads,
for.
Sublime. 'cause we got
Sublime,
that, like,
of
kind of like
course.
rock punk
Revolution's
feel.
my favorite.
Revolution.
Revolution,
Pacifier,
Iration.
like-
Mhm. Just that really good.
I mean, and from my rap aspect,
Vegas.
I draw
Red
from
Hot Chili Peppers.
from
Red
idea and
Hot Chili Peppers,
abilities.
though.
Yeah.
Fucking
Mr. Flea on the
ASAP
bass.
Rock, they're like huge inspiration
Yeah.
for me on my rap at
Vocally,
least.
yeah.
Those are just some of the few.
Yeah.
I still love my kind of angsty rock. I love the Strokes, and I like
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
those-
fucking Strokes,
you know,
dude.
and
is so
just a
good.
few of
I
my
love
favorite
Strokes.
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah, I don't know. I love. It's interesting because I listen to a lot of the reggae bands, but I'm a big metalhead. Like,
Mhm.
and I hope it comes through in my drumming a little bit. But like, I'm definitely like I listen to a lot of like. Well, I listen to a lot of like pop punk, like Story So Far, or like Knuckle Puck, or things like that. But then like I go all the way deep as like Die Hard Murder and like some Whitechapel or like
Yeah, so
random
he's
stuff.
obviously the heavy
So,
influence, but like
I-
it's-
my
we
influence is
do what
all
we
over the
can to get
board.
it all together.
So I
you
try
know?
to take what I've learned from that stuff, but then come at it because I've listened to Dirty Heads forever too.
Mhm.
So like I try to blend in the genre, but
Let's keep it rolling here. So we got-
um,
unfortunately, we're gonna have as many technical difficulties as possible on this podcast.
as many.
Yeah, because we're running
alright.
into a low battery
Dan
issue.
Land, your dad,
Oh my dad.
commented.
What up, Dad?
He says, "When is the music video coming out?"
Very soon.
Very,
we
very,
don't have
very,
a
very, very
specific
soon.
We don't
date
have
on
a
that
date
one
yet,
but
no.
it's coming out. We have
Um,
some
I
Around
believe
about
we'll
it.
be
when we do
premiering it.
a premiere that. We're gonna be on BJ in the morning, like we talked about earlier. Brendan Peterson, who record the music
And
videos,
Juan Venezuela, yes.
Yeah.
and Juan Venezuela, they run BJ in the morning, and we're gonna go on there and talk
Oh, I
about
think
that
you
and
guys
release
said
it that day.
wrong.
So
I don't know
go
how to
follow
say
their
his last name,
podcast
but
anywhere you can find
so bad.
podcasts, and
Yes.
just be looking out for that. Keep listening so you can figure that out.
Yeah, so that's when we'll be dropping that. And then Judith Vance, she's actually friends with my parents and my grandma. She commented and said, who are your idols or mentors?
Kind of goes back to the same thing with
Yeah.
our influences. I feel.
Influences
Yeah,
and
and
also
going back to
mentors to
Jim.
like
Dude,
Jim.
Gary Vaynerchuk,
and-
man.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk is a
V,
huge.
Go fucking
yeah.
look at his videos and get inspired because
Yeah.
For real,
there's
anytime I
nothing that gets
ever
me fired
feel-
up, dude.
Yeah. Anytime you ever feel like, oh, like I'm not good enough or blah, he inspires the crap out of you.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
give a
like
fuck about that shit.
Yeah,
a
dude,
big
and anytime-
inspiration for. I know
Anytime you're like, oh, I've been working really hard, he makes you like, oh, you haven't been doing shit. You need to work harder, and it's awesome because I love getting inspired like that.
All right,
Start off
sorry
again right
guys, we apologize about that, but I'm gonna close it out here. Like I said, we have a tour coming up. It's gonna be in the fall. Make sure
New
to follow us
merch.
on social media because we'll be posting everything there.
Mhm.
We're gonna have merch coming out that same day of the 20th of July. So go to the Rialto, get your tickets. We're gonna
Get
be
your
on
shirts.
BJ in the We're gonna BJ in the meeting. We're gonna be on BJ in the morning. We're gonna be releasing our music video through that. So make sure to go follow them. We're gonna have a single and a music video coming out here soon. So keep an eye out for that. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching and following all of us on through this experience, through all the updates, studio
Mhm.
updates.
Yeah. Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
excited
yeah,
to get
We've
this
been
music
working
to
on this
you.
album for a while, and we're excited for everyone who's stuck around and waiting to hear it, and we're excited to put it out.
Do
Yeah, it's
loud.
fun for everyone to be like, "Hey, when's the album coming out?" It's like
It's
we're
like,
getting it.
getting
Like
it, yeah.
everyone's so excited about it, and we're gonna
And
get
we
it to
thank
you
you
as
so
soon as
much for all the
possible.
support. We couldn't do
Yeah,
without you
of
guys.
course.
So yeah, follow us on all social media. We'll have everything you need to know there. All updates, insight on what we're doing. Make sure to pick up a ticket to the show on July 20th. It's gonna be at the Rialto. We're playing with great bands. We're gonna have all kinds of shit to sell: CDs, shirts, posters. So just come out. Thank you guys again for watching. Like we couldn't be
Yes,
here. We couldn't be
thank
doing
you.
this and getting
It
this
doesn't
going
work
without
if
you
you're
guys.
not listening to us.
Yeah.
So
I was just
We're
preaching to no
glad
one.
you're experiencing
thank
this
you
with
for
us.
hanging out with us.
We're gonna try to do these more. If you like it, comment down below.
Mhm.
Tell us, hey, we want more podcasts. We'll do them. Much love to you all, and we'll see
Yes.
you guys next time.
Much love.
Much love.
Love
We'll
you
see you
guys.
next
Thank
Thank
you,
you
time.
guys.